At Reservoir 2024, marking 2 years into the current 9-year plan, the Universal House of Justice stated, "With every passing day, we see too the condition of the world grow more desperate, its divisions more severe." They described that while we are saddened by humanity's sufferings, we are not confused or paralyzed by them. Instead, they emphasized that these worsening conditions demands from every conscientious soul a response. Heartfelt concern must prompt sustained effort to build communities that offer hope in place of despair, unity in place of conflict. The Universal House of Justice encouraged South Africa in May 2024 with a letter in response to the National Convention that they hope the South African community will, in this plan, rise to the front ranks of the transformative processes unfolding across the African continent. And so we tried. Waves of gatherings for youth across the country unfolded. It is estimated at least 400 young people participated in total. These gatherings also helped clarify the community's vision of the importance of nurturing the aspirations and desires of youthful souls to serve in their communities.
This community building conversation is part of all of us as youth, to see ourselves as people that can help our community to grow. For these people that we have had, the junior youth, the church class, and the youth to see themselves like this part of expanding youth class of friends.
Community-wide gatherings welcomed all ages, which gave glimpses into how an entire community can come together and start to consult about taking charge of their own growth. Efforts across various settings drew young and old, veteran or new, to engage with the Word of God and find meaningful ways to contribute wherever they reside. All these efforts contributed to the surge of spaces for devotion, hope, and friendship, with some 632 devotional meetings taking root across the nation, with over 3,000 participants. The vital process of education cultivated through the Training Institute was further strengthened, unlocking potential in all ages. Study circles increased to over 160, junior youth groups to over 180, and at least 150 children's classes. All these activities include over 3,700 participants. In unassuming settings, the efforts of dedicated friends who found creative ways to increase their intensity helped their clusters to advance to the next milestone.
So at the beginning, we deployed pioneers into the focus neighborhood of Mdantsane. And initially, we needed a place for the pioneer to stay. So there's a national the local Bahá'í center is in Mdantsane. And the local spiritual assembly helped they cleared the space, renovated the space so that it could accommodate the pioneer that they were able to, so that they could stay.
Ngize ukuba ngizophayonierisha ngikushona ukuzonceda i-orthodox yalapha eMdantsane. Ekuqaleni kwakulula, imnandi, izinto zakhawuleza, kwangathi kuzawukhawuleza kulunge yonke into. But kuthe xa uphakathi as uba ndifunda i-reality yendawo, wafumaniseka ukuba izinto ziyatshintsha, azikho ngale ndlela beziqale ngayo. Kukhona ubuthaphanyana obukhoyo and also i-change ekhoyo.
We later realized that while we were focusing on Mdantsane as a neighborhood, really there was an entire generality of friends who also lived within the township. And really the pioneer was only situated in one neighborhood that existed amongst many other neighborhoods where there were many families. And the local spiritual assembly played a really strong role in mobilizing these families and allowing them to also engage with the community building process, And having the Bahá'í Center that was renovated and opened again to the friends allowed all the friends to come together for reflection meetings and join the intensive activities that were taking place in the neighborhood as well. And through that, we not only had one neighborhood where the pioneer was deployed, that strengthened, but also two more neighborhoods that were becoming areas of intense activity. And this was Mdansane NU7 and NU2 Core 34. And yeah, these two neighborhoods as well started to develop strong junior youth programs and youth that were engaged in facilitating children's classes, junior youth groups, and children's and devotional meetings.
So the youth Core 34 on that Sunday actually went back to their area in order to invite our junior youth from their area to come to the camp. And then the idea was after the camp, they would continue with the junior youth group. And so same thing with Go at MU7. And the youth from MU7 invited youth JKY from MU7 to come to the camp.
What took place in Pavla City, we started off focusing on one neighborhood, but actually we found that there's an entire generality of friends that also became inspired to intensify the efforts of teaching in the surrounding neighborhoods as well.
Tshwane had been sitting at 60 core activities for a long time. With the encouragement and a heightened urgency to achieve the goals of the plan early in this first phase of the 9-year plan, we then managed to get to 80 core activities, increasing with a few children's classes and junior youth groups in the focus neighborhoods, and more study circles across the cluster. In less than 2 cycles, we managed to achieve third milestone status numerically. What assisted Tshwane to break through to become third milestone was a neighborhood seminar which took place in October of 2024.
In this seminar, we were focusing on 2 questions. One was, how do we raise up the devotional character in the neighborhood, as well as, this capacity to have meaningful conversation with youth about service. We used book 1 and book 2, to deepen ourselves and to also guide our conversations. And another strategy that we used was to approach families of the participants of study cycles, of junior youth groups, of children's classes. Already in these families, they know us. We've been to their houses before, and there's an understanding of the efforts that we're engaged in. And another one was, to change our language a bit, to move away from the term devotion to a prayer meeting. And it's because, people already understand what a prayer meeting looks like, or they've been to one before, or even hosted one. And we could pray for education of children. We could pray for families to be more united, or even pray for those who are not well. And ever since, it has been a wonderful experience. We've seen the neighborhood growing.
It did change my life by letting me calm down, because myself, even myself, I have a small heart and I can easily beat someone right now. So it helped me by not doing that, even communicating with people properly, by not fighting with them.
I was like an introvert at first, but slowly when I joined this group, I learned to communicate with others, and I brought out my extrovert. So
the generality of believers continued to find creative ways to engage with their neighbors. Others held gatherings focused on gaining a skill or strengthening bonds of friendship, and infused these spaces with Baha'i prayers and writings in the hope to attract the friends and neighbors to regularly pray together and engage in the institute process. To reach third milestone means to be outward oriented, letting go of expectations and perceived perfection, nurturing relationships with all those who are like-minded and attracted to the faith, working in teams where we study, consult, act, and reflect regularly. It means increasing our intensity, It's amazing what 30 minutes to 2 hours of daily teaching or engaging in meaningful conversations can do to our individual and collective lives. And lastly, it means focusing on building capacity, seeing everyone as capable to take ownership of their own development and that of their own communities.
The Universal House of Justice noted the evident growth in the capacity of the South African Baha'i community to learn systematically along multiple lines of action. At the national level, institutional gatherings were held to reflect on critical guidance, to clarify vision, sharpen focus, and together find the next steps ahead. In February 2025, the institutional meeting focused on the guidance the National Assembly received from the Universal House of Justice, addressing themes of administration and financial arrangements in South Africa, so critical at this time of increased growth. The Friends should appreciate the promise of this moment for the faith in their nation. Successive generations of faithful believers have worked hard to establish in South Africa a pattern of action that enables Baha'u'llah's teachings to touch and transform the lives of the masses. Yet, progress has for many years been intermittent. Now, in these early years of the 9-year plan, that long-cherished goal appears well within your community's grasp. Therefore, all the Friends in South Africa are urged not to be lax, but to be diligent in fulfilling their sacred duty of contributing to the material means needed to sustain and accelerate the spiritual enterprise. They are encouraged to respond with full trust to the appeals of their institutions and not let worldly comfort rob them of the honor and privilege of aiding in this vital way the cause of the Blessed Beauty. Seminars focusing on distilling learning about the Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Program unfolding across the country were held and led to insights that strengthened the conviction in the potential of the program.
The Learning Science Seminar brings together coordinators for the Junior Youth Program as well as other imperatives, as well as other friends that are supporting the growth of the program in their neighborhoods together to come and think about how we can establish basic programs in as many neighborhoods as possible across the country. How do we have a program that is well structured, well functioning, and well resourced? And this is a question that requires a lot of attention and one that we are learning about slowly as we learn more and more about the content of the program, but also the impact that the program can have on the community.
So, ke tlo bua ka experience e ke nnileng le yone during the seminar. Impile the confidence gore ke bule group because lanta ne ke co-animator and also as a cluster coordinator no gona dilo tse di dintsi tse le gore ke tsa go tswa mo go tsone like the theme di eng every time ha ke fielding.
My participation in the Learning Science Seminar has made me understand the 2017 letter to South Africa, particularly the paragraph which talks about the well-functioning, well-resourced and well-structured of the program. And then also as an individual, it has actually assisted me in saying I should put my effort in assisting the junior youth, making sure that they form part of this program and participate fully. Because as the House described them in the 2017 letter, they said, if this program is well structured, well resourced and well functioning, it will produce hundreds and eventually thousands of active protagonists in South Africa. That's why I keep on going to the seminar to learn more about this and see how we can actually strengthen the program in our community.
Another area of focus was the learning being generated in various neighborhoods, which allowed friends working intensely in these settings to come together and share their growing experiences for a third time in a neighborhood gathering at the national level. This brought friends from around 18 neighborhoods to reflect on their experiences and expand on emerging strategies. Thoughtful arrangements were created by the Eastern Regional Council to allow for the experiences of pioneers to be more systematically followed.
The Council is closely following the pioneering efforts, recognizing how much that can be learned through these processes and these endeavors. There have already been and will continue to be many insights, valuable insights coming from pioneering and friends serving full-time.
When I started pioneering, it was a bit difficult for me because I didn't know what I was doing. But then at times I realized that the transformation starts with me. I had to transform myself inside and out so that I can be able to transform people around me. Transforming myself was a challenge, but that challenge also motivated me to do better, to change the way I think, the way I do things, the way I think about the people surrounding me. Then that's where I realized that I had to make some changes in my life and the life of the people in my neighborhood, starting with myself, my family, and the community.
Seeing this growth that's taking shape in these different neighborhoods, in these different clusters, in response, the council has put in structures of support and accompaniment. These structures include the appointment of regional growth facilitators. These friends who are serving in this role as regional facilitators are working shoulder to shoulder with these friends in the field, accompany them on their plans, broadening their vision on growth. So that's part of some of the mandates or some of the roles that the growth facilitators are playing. And this is still an evolving role for these individuals. And also in the process of accompanying these friends on the field, their own capacities are being strengthened through these ongoing experiences and being part of this service.
Now it's been a journey, but now I can say slowly things are changing because we have co-activities that bring change to the neighborhood. Families are starting to unite. Families are starting to think more about serving other people other than themselves and their needs. Now we're starting to think outside, even our homes. That for sure, I believe, will bring change to the neighborhood that I'm living in.
The South African Baha'i Office of Public Affairs, BOPA, follows pressing discourses in the nation and is learning about influencing thought at the national level. BOPA actively engages in social discourse by hosting thematic dialogues, including the potential of youth, religion, gender equality, reconciliation, and our common heritage. Throughout the year, the office has participated in various forums to network and contribute to important discussions, including the Presidential Climate Commission, consultations on the Marriage Bill, and dialogues organized by the South African Council of Churches. With the vision to raise capacity in young students to also contribute to the discourses in society, during their university years and beyond, the Institute for Studies in Global Prosperity, ISGP, held its 12th seminar for tertiary students, 74 participants in attendance, the largest to date. The ISGP Graduate Seminar was held for the first time with hopes for more seminar offerings in the future to more graduates and young professionals in the region. At all levels, attention was given to increase institutional capacity. A national orientation of the regional Baha'i councils was held in December 2024. As regional Baha'i councils are charged with the special mission of growth of the faith, this space allowed councils to consider their plans for the year ahead, which will take us to the end of the first phase of the 9-year plan. The demands on the faith have required attention to be given to physical spaces needed for the administration of the faith. Last year, the plans for renovation of the Northern Regional Facility were approved, and the seat of the Southern Regional Baha'i Council has found its place as the renovations at the Cape Town Baha'i Center are underway. The National Learning Desk was invited to special consultations convened by the Universal House of Justice in February 2025. The delegation from South Africa included Councillor Nsika Mutasa, selected members of the National Spiritual Assembly, and friends serving the learning desk. Other countries invited, in addition to South Africa, included the United States, Australia, India, Kenya, and the United Kingdom. As the year was coming to a close, the national community received a special visit by Dr. Feridun Javaheri, former member of the Universal House of Justice. He generously visited a number of clusters, including Cape Town, Tshwane, Johannesburg, and Mahikeng. He also had a chance to visit some centers of activity, including Mahokwe and Kailicha. Dr. Javaheri also gave special attention to meeting with young professionals and university students, encouraging them to think about the ways they engage in their fields and with their peers. The South African Baha'i community stands joyful and lively, prepared to continually strive to rise to the front ranks of the transformative processes unfolding across the continent, hoping to contribute its share in offering the healing balm that is Baha'u'llah's revelation, which alone can lift humanity out of its suffering.